This Brachos Daf Tezayin of the Daf Yomi Yerushalmi. And we got a little bit into Daf Tezayin when we did Daf Tezvav. So let's start from the second line down, Ha Kedusha, which here means Kiddush. The Gemara asks, what about Kiddush, where it's, even though it's Brachos Mechaberta, Friday night, you say Baruch Begav, and then you say Shek Yerushalmi Berachos. Why is the second bracha going to start with a bracha? So here, the answer we quoted yesterday, the name of the stipler for Abdullah, is used here in the Gemara for Kiddush, which is that Shema Yoshe b'Shais Mibad Yom, you were already singing, drinking from before Shabbos begins. Kiddush Yom Yom, then because comes Shabbos begins. Shein Omer Bar B'Yagav, you don't say Bar B'Yagav, you just make the bracha of Kiddush. Va Seifa. So the Gemara asks, V'Seifa Kiddush Hayom Shechosemes Bebaruch. Okay, I mean Pnei Moshe. Sorry. V'Seifa Kiddush Hayom Shechosemes Bebaruch. It finishes the Baruch. Kiddush with Kiddush. It has the signature. Why? It's not. It seems to be one Indian. So Amar Tofes Brachos Kachi. This is the way brachos work. And it says here Amar Rabbi Yudan. It don't change gears, but it's as if it says De Amar Rabbi Yudan. My be'er kotzer b'sech b'hem bebaruch, be'er kotzer b'hem bebaruch. A short bracha, you start with the baruch, you don't end with the baruch. My be'aruch, a long bracha, long for b'sem b'hem bebaruch, b'chosem bebaruch, and you also do a chasim with baruch. So it doesn't really say here why it should be considered a long bracha. After all, it's one Indian, but I think that's it is two in Yonim, because Yerushalmi does not say it explicitly, because of first part is Zikaron Masa Berachos and the second part is Zecher L'Tzias Mitzrayim. Those might not have noticed it. First part of bracha till Zikaron Masa Berachos is till there is in the third. We talk address Kosh Baruch in the third party, as if he's not present. After we get the second part of the bracha, we address Kosh Baruch in the second party. B'lashon Ochech, he's talking directly. Kibara v'charta v'son kidashla, and then so when it comes to it's Riyas Olam, just Kosh Baruch in the third party, it comes to Yitzias Mitzrayim, Riyas Kosh Baruch in the second party, and we'll leave it at that. You can come up with your own reason why. Okay, so it says more kol brachas achar chisumeim. All the brachas follow their signature, but now we have a very cryptic line, which is ein omrim bracha pasuk. You don't say a bracha as a pasuk. So there are many different shatim here. The Pnei Moshe says, "Ein chosei bracha pasuk gon burchas Hashem golein Hashem tzvos v'goyim rechetzim." So you don't include a pasuk in the actual chazim of bracha. The Baruch Charein brings down. Hagasin lo Yerushalmi Perek Sheni Tanios kol brachas achar chisumim ein omrim achar bracha pasuk. All the brachas after, either if they follow their chisumim like we said in the Gemara, or after their signatures, you don't say a bracha. You don't say after the bracha a pasuk. You don't add on a bracha at the end. The Mecha Amayim and the Mashbiach have other pshatim. The Mashbiach explains that speaking here, Rabbi Yitzchak ben Elazar holds that understands that since everything is totally in the chasima, he asked the question that that's the next line. Sorry. Okay, let's go to the next line. Okay, so for Amri and Baruch Pasuk, hey, so Yitzhak ben Elazar asked, Kumei Rabbi Yossi, So what do you care? And he goes. The Mashbiach is going with the Haredim shot that you're not supposed to say a bracha after the pasuk. He says, "What do you care? Why not?" So you finished. You're not supposed to say pasuk after the bracha. Sorry, you're not supposed to say pasuk after the bracha. He says, "What do you care? You already finished the bracha. Why is it a problem?" So the answer is Ami Chakime Hadin Talia. So the way the Mashbiach goes it's supposed to be Amrin Hachin Hadin Milaya. This is the way to understand it. Meaning that there are two halachas, two separate halachas. One is everything follows the chasima, you call it chasimum. And another halacha is that you don't say a pasuk instead of a bracha. Except there was a minhag, which we don't know about very much, which he goes on to say that later on, something about Tzali Veroni Yoshev Sion, but that it really comes up in a few lines later, right before the Mishnah. So let's go in order. Let's go back to the Gemara. Ani Chakim Eldein Milaya, right? Instead of actually, when he says Amin Hachen Hadein Milaya, Usavar Mar Chisum Meim. What is mean after Chisumem? Shimaya Omer B'Shachas Shobis Kirsha Arvis. If you were by Chakras, and you said the bracha of Yotzar Choshech instead of Asher B'Ro Ma'ariv Aravim. No, I'm sorry. You said in the morning. You're supposed to say Yotzar Choshech, and instead you said Asher B'Ro Ma'ariv Aravim. Shobis Kish Arvis. Chazal Mishul Shachas, but you conclude Yotzar Ma'oros instead of Hamariv Aravim, you Yotzi. Okay. Rabbi Acha. Skip sign. No. All the brachas should be similar to the chasima. What seems to mean is that you're supposed to have before the chasima, you're supposed to have a line which is about similar to the chasima. And I saw it recently, and I forget where I saw it. Is it Chaim Kanevsky? I don't remember where it was. That when you do when the shliach tzibur ends off a paragraph which ends with the bracha, you should not start immediately from the bracha. You should start off from the line before, because since samuch to the bracha chasima, you're supposed to have something which ties into the chasima. So therefore, you should not just start with the chasima, but you should start with the kind of introduction to its topic of the few words, which are the phrase immediately before the chasima. Now the Gemara says, "V'yadam etzali veroni yoshevet siyam gomer enbo mishum bracha pasuk." So Gemara says, "There's normally you should not substitute a pasuk for bracha." But those who say Tzali Beroni, and again, we don't know what exactly this minhag was. But evidently it was minhag to say this Tzali Beroni instead of a pasuk, in lieu of part of the bracha. So he says that specific scenario is not a problem. So it's an interesting Tal Torah on this sugya, the Me'arik. He says that the Chuvas from Ramam Mifano, which is quote asking the shot, reference to the Shas, says that you don't do a chasima out of a pasuk. And he writes that therefore we have by Birchos Hamazon in the second bracha after Kalkosa B'Chaltav Savata, etc. We said V'noda Chol Oretz Ba'alamazon, right? Because in order that we don't lead immediately from the pasuk into the chasima. But he says, wait a second. Tal Torah says we don't have the minhag. We go immediately from the pasuk into the chasima. Also in the bracha, first bracha, at least according to those who say it, those people that ends immediately before the chasima of kamur poseches yodecha. And he says that the people, Beis Yosef, who says the people don't say Kamur Poseach. That's because the Baruch Hazon was made by Moshe Rabbeinu, and this pasuk is from David HaMelech, so therefore it shouldn't be included. But not because a thing of Einon being a bracha pasuk. And the Charedim seems to explain that it means to say a pasuk after a bracha. That's the problem, what we mentioned here. But to say a bracha pasuk before the bracha, that's okay. And Yerushalmi later on, Perek Lacha Gimel, in the bracha of Aneinu, has a pasuk before the end of the bracha, and also in the bracha of Nachem, for Tisha B'Av. And so that seems to confirm what the Charedim is saying, that the issue is to add on at the end, not to say before, not to say a pasuk beforehand. Getting back to Tzali Varoni, so the Pnei Moshe says that they said to say after the bracha of the Haftorah this pasuk, and there's no problem since it was after the Chasimas HaBracha, and therefore it's not. It's just like adding on. The Charedim says that they said this not after Haftorah but after the Havdalah. Even though it's not a problem of interrupting between the bracha of Havdalah and the drinking. So this is this they're claiming to know what the Tzali Varoni is, even though we don't really know for sure. But so according to the what we said before, that the issue is that the issue is either saying a pasuk before the bracha, that's the Pnei Moshe, and the say before bracha before, say pasuk before the bracha, that's the Ramah Mifano. Substituting a pasuk, or inserting in the Chasima, I should say, a pasuk that's upon according to Pnei Moshe. According to the Charedim, the problem is adding on at the a pasuk after the Chasima. So that's the Gemara says. Well, what about what's the problem? And that works out best according to the pshat that it's adding afterwards, because it says Gemara says, well, if you sign off, you already signed off. What's the problem with adding on a pasuk afterwards? And the Gemara answers again that there is the issue of is a totally different issue. It is that whether if you start a bracha wrong, as long as you finish it right, it's okay. And then Gemara says that you should make sure to say before the chasima, something like the chasima. And then Gemara says that the scriptic line of those who say Tzali Varoni Shevet Sion Emo B'Shum Bracha Pasuk, it's not clear where they said it, but it seems that according to the Pnei Moshe and the Charedim, it's talking about a pasuk after, even according to Pnei Moshe, right? It's talking about a bracha after, so the pasuk after Haftorah or after Havdalah, and it's not a problem because it's already after the Chasima. Okay, let's go on to Halacha Vav. Maskin Yitzias Mitzrayim Balelos. You say Yitzias Mitzrayim, mention Yitzias Mitzrayim at night. Amar Rabbi Lolem, Rabbi Lolem is the famous Mishnah which appears in Haggadah. Harani Kavim Shim Shana. I'm 70 years old. I did not merit understanding. From whence we derive, we say Yitzias Mitzrayim at night. Achad Rasha Ben Zoma to Ben Zoma expounded. Shneimar, it says, Laman Tizkor Yom Tzeis Chamer Tzitzayim Koyim Mechaecha. You should remember the day you left Egypt, all the days of your life. Yimechayecha Hayamim, that refers to daytime. Koyim Mechaecha is all days of your lives. That also includes Halelos. Does not come to include night times. Yimei chayecha zol lemazeh. In this world, even after Mashiach comes, there'll still be an obligation to mention Yitzias Mitzrayim. So Gemara starts with a comment of Elazar ben Azariah. Even though he entered greatness, Herich Yomim, he had a long life. Now, this is Shas is a problem here, right? How do you know it's Marach Yomim? All we know is that we have the nace which in the Gemara in Bavli says he was 18, Yerushalmi later says he was 16, and he became like an old man. But it's not evidence he was Merech Yomim. Well, they said it was 16 or 18, I think it was 17 in the Bavli. So the Charedim has a very radical shot here, which he says that this argues Bavli. The Savar, the Kiven Shivim Omar Biyom Shnaseh Lo Nes Shem Shaseh Shara. Yerushalmi Bavli holds that he said Harani Kiven Shivim on the day when the miracle occurred. He was 17 years old. He's a Gobo Seva and he became an old man. But that's the case. He contained Ech Tama Delo Nitzech Lechachomim. How is he astounded that he was not where is this? I'm not sure he means lo nitzech l'chachamim. I think that's coming up, but let me see if I can find it right now. No, I made a mistake. But it's going back in the Mishnah, and the way Charedim is saying "Lo zochisi shamar yetzias mitzrayim b'leilos" means I didn't merit vanquishing, so to speak. Zochisa means lizkot in the sense to be victorious, or chachamim until I brought the raya from Ben Zoyma. So on that, the Charedim is saying, if he was still a young man, a lad of 16, as I'm going to say later on in the fourth parak, it's going to say that I was 16 years old. So then, what's the chiddush that he didn't know until now? He's a youngster, right? So he wants to say that Maisa, when he became Nasi, and later on in the fourth parak, that's a different Maisa. This Maisa with Lo Zochisi took place not at the same time, not like the Bavli says, but rather that this took place later in life, much later, when he was 70 years old. And so he says, my entire life I was in anguish, to compel the Chachmi Ador L'chayev, I guess L'achriach, to compel the Chachmi Ador L'yaskir Tzis B'Tzrayim B'Leilos, Ad Shav Darshum Ben Zoma V'Nitzchum. And till now, then, but I have this drasha which Ben Zoma Darshan, evidently on the spot here, and therefore I can vanquish, so to speak, the Chachamim. And he wants to say, going on, well, I'm not going to read the rest inside, but he wants to say, maybe he wasn't exactly 70, he was 68 or 69. And he said, oh, but now I know, right? Now, that's the case. Also, the Gillian Shas's answer is, Gillian Shas's question is resolved, at least to a certain extent, although it's hard to say 68 or 69 is Arichas Yamim, but it could be, that's even what I'm saying. People who are, he was appointed very young to be to the leadership, age 16 or 18, and it's a chiddush that he was able to survive so long, having been appointed so young, right? So Abish Nichlas Gdula, even though he came into Gdula, says the Yerushalmi, very young, Herich Yomim, right? He still had a longish life, at least 68 or 69, probably older. Anyway, Hadam Arad, this tells us Shagdula Mikatzeres Yomim. It tells us here that that when one ray goes up to greatness, it has the unfortunate potential consequence of shortening one's life. So even though we have 5 more words on the page, since that's a new issue, new sugya, we'll start with that in Yot Hashem tomorrow.